Okay. So how do we do that? What's happening here? And these two questions are not the same. Means how somebody behave and how somebody is naturally oriented to contribute the best. These are two very different questions. Now, the question comes then, is there a way to understand these natural orientations or contributions, not just the personality traits or responses? Now, be with me. This is pretty loaded, a couple of slides. I will try to bring my understanding. And if you have question, just type it down. I'll try to answer. But this is pretty loaded. If we get a good grip of it, we definitely have a lot better understanding what we can do about it. So here's a modern approach that we looked at, right? How does a person behave? Personality traits, behavior patterns. But interestingly, ancient Indian thinkers approached this problem very differently. Instead of starting with the potential traits, they began with the modes of energy and action. And this is these two things, energy and action, which is guna and karma, has yet to be very well explained. That took quite a bit of digging into many scriptures to understand that clearly. So they describe guna and karma as, like in this framework, guna describes as the mode of mental energy. Okay, while karma describes patterns of actions that arises from those energies. Okay, let's look at it few different ways. So guna is how minds tend to operate. Okay. The karma is how that mind expresses itself in action. Okay. So it's tied up with the guna. Now when you give it enough time, enough practice, like how energies are designed to do the action, those actions, repeated actions over the year action becomes our karma. Karma literally translated in English as action. But the action, as we know, as in so many more Sanskrit words, the each word has multiple meanings. And here is not only multiple meanings, it has a real thoroughness of what is karma. So like three basic karmas that I would like to bring it here. There could be a whole debate about what all the karmas are. So it's like the karma that is present karma, like what we do, the action, right? Then behavioral karma. So when we keep doing it, it becomes our habit. Now the third is consequence of that karma. So you keep keep eating sugar. I'm just taking a very rough example. It becomes our no, I cannot live without this sweetener, and then now doctor says, okay, the result is. So there are different types of karma, and I see the question has come. Just let me finish. Just list thought, and I'll get back to that. Okay, so look at the Sanskrit words and the modern interpretation of guna and karma. So, guna technically means cognitive energies, tendency of a person. Now, karma is a behavioral expression of that person. Now, varna is is built on these two, is a contribution orientation. So now where this person is already automatically designed certain ways. So the model becomes mental energy, behavioral action, contribution pattern. Okay. These ancient Indian thinkers observed that people differ not only in personality but in how their minds process energy, how that energy expresses itself through actions. They describe this through two major ideas that we have been talking about: the mode of mental energy, guna, and the pattern of action that energy produces, that is karma. Right? When so there's this is not a karma that has been talked in recent times as something that is bad, or hey, you are doomed because you did something. Everything can be worked on once we are aware of that. But that's not the topic that we are covering today, so I'll leave that discussion for some other time. So when these combine over time, these karmas combine over time, they form a recognizable orientation of contribution. Okay, we'll get into that. Orientation of contribution means what? So the same again, going back to how these ancient Indian thinkers observed that the human mind does not operate in just one way. So, okay, now you are saying it's stable, that karma stays, and then you are saying it does not operate the same way, or one way. Then what are we doing here? So they had done even further breaking down of these gunas into what we have. I thought I did that. Okay, fine. We are fairly aware of sattva, rajas, and tamas that we have talked about loosely in our societies, not a very structured form, most of us, general public. I'm not talking about the scholars, but this cognitive orientation, I have put it as a varna spectrum, goes from one end to the other, and these are not only three gunas. There's a spectrum of qualities that makes a set of sattva, rajas, or tamas. But these gunas, combinations for each one of us, has our own imprint. That's our own map. That's our own gunas. Even though broadly at certain part of the history, they were termed as Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. But we'll go into further detail. These are the broad categories. We are a part of somewhere in that spectrum that is our own. Okay. So, as I said, these are not moral categories. They are simply modes in which mental energy expresses itself. Every person contains all three of them. So when these modes of energies expresses themselves through behavior, that they form a pattern of action. You keep doing the same thing same way, it becomes a pattern. That is what Sanskrit action is called karma. Okay. So summarize this: guna describes mental energy, karma describes how that energy expresses itself through action, and over time, combination of energy action produces recognizable orientation of contribution. And this is where the classical concept of varna comes up. And these dynamic energies are not fixed identities. So when we say the gunas, we have everyone have all types of gunas in different proportions, in different magnitudes. Okay, so each one has our blend and our varna. So what I have taken the concept from the scriptures, looked at the science behind it, invite you to be a research partner if you are inclined to. And that's how we are working with a few of the institutions to bring the value for today's world. So each one of us has a unique blend of guna and karma to make a varna. Okay, see, let me just quickly see if somebody was asking something.
No, no, you can continue. I'll
Oh,
filter the questions and ask them if anyone asks
okay,
anything.
okay, okay, lovely. That will make it easier. All right, so um, okay, let's go back to Varna spectrums. I think I did cover quite a bit on that. So, so like, one more thing I wanted to say here, like how we have seen, we have our unique blend of gunas, karmas, and our own varna without the name. These are not birth identity. These are not hierarchy. These are not anything that is above and below of one or the other. Okay. Um, but functional orientation of contribution are des- designed through these varnas. And once we are aware of our mix or our varna, my personal varna, we are able to see a very nice pattern where things are fixed. I will go into more detail on that. So we are able to now design where our energies flow best. What are the type of actions? How do I think? How do I digest information? How do I process the information? How do I act on that? How do I contribute? That's our unique varna or imprint, you may call it, right? So if energy shapes action, then different combination of energies and action may lead people to contribute to the society different ways. And in the society we need everybody. Okay, which does not mean shudra is a bad or anything, because there is nothing called shudra as a bad thing. Visionary, executor, and somebody who completes the job, all are required in the society, in the workplace, and everywhere. And so um, equally valuable in in understanding of where we stand. Okay, so that's the point I wanted to bring. um okay, let's see. Now, coming to that, since we made it very clear that Varna is a unique imprint that we have, and that unique imprint creates a unique way of processing the information, executing, contributing in whatever we are doing. Now, it's go a little bit deeper, and we find out that human contribution is not very random, that somebody's born with something nobody has any control over, none of that, right? So when we look a little bit closer, the more I explored this idea, the more something became very, very clear. Human contribution is not random, is one thing. People tend to approach responsibility in patterned ways, and their patterns stable enough to be measured. And when we are able to measure what we are building, we can also look at what if we could measure this. What if know certain job or certain position required this type of thinking? I'll come to that example. Okay. Um, then we are able to say this person is the best fit for this position or not. So I'm thinking another example. So like behavioral pattern. So say there are two people taking the test, they both are extrovert. One is a visionary excuse, the somebody who is very good at detailing, researching, and going after. Both are extroverts. Both produce results. Both got same degrees. Both got the same amount of experience. But the one is more of a visionary design, and the one is more of an executioner. You give the work, and the whole team, the process, the people, the tools, all gets aligned, and that executioner put in the visionary's place, or visionary put in the executioner's place, both will do poorly because that's not their natural bend. Does not make one better than the other, they are just in the wrong place. So what if we can measure that alignment? Okay, we have figured out that there's a different makeup, different varna, and then we are saying we already know what we want to get done in particular job. Now that would be very interesting, right? Let's see. Well, another just again dip, why this matters now. It's like as we looked at AI driven era, AI does not think, does not have emotions. It just does the pattern recognition and expedite and magnifies whatever it does. So if the people and processes are aligned, we are looking at AI helping. If we are not aligned, the dysfunction will magnify much more. So, in this AI driven era, alignment may become more important than ever before. So, they just wanted to kind of give it another perspective that, this work really requires more deeper works to go over. All right, so let's see. We have already gone through looking at a person, their natural orientation, roles and responsibility, what it demands, okay, and how the contribution that this person can give and that the job requires can give a clue on what type of work performance we can expect from this job and this person. And that's what can bring the results knowingly, intentionally, rather than randomly. So no amount, we are changing nothing from outside, the job description, the skills, the training, the process. We are just making sure the right person is in the right place of natural instinct that person has. So now, if there's an alignment, we are looking at the clarity, energy, engagement, and better impact in the job, any of the job, right? But if this is missing, we are looking at something reverse, the burnout, because person is putting extra effort trying to figure out something that is not the natural conditioning or design that this person has. We are asking, somebody to use the scoop for places where the bucket is required. So it's causing more energy leak, the burnout, confusion, frictions, because yeah, we get angry, we get frustrated that why it's not working, or why certain person is not working, or process is not happening, or the results are not coming. So again, the leaders are way more tired, and I don't like to call it failure, but it does become difficult to handle. All right, let's see. So we talked all about this is what we need, but how do we do that? And that's where the Verna CQ work comes to action in real life, which means um, I created a framework that does what we call Varna map, basically an assessment that gives a kind of our individual blueprint. What we, so again, That's the Brahma, Kshatri, Vaishya, Shudra has got nothing to do with it. The Varna is our unique print. We are unique design. So that's we call Varna map, and that's live, and I'll share that information that any of us can take it. Um, and then what is called CQ. Then okay, we know our inner makeup. So what? Now, either we are in a job or we want to change, or we are a student, we are deciding what type of work is very natural to us. And that's what the quotient or consciousness question, you can, please to call whatever you like, but I like to call it consciousness question because we are consciously measuring where we stand and making use of that in our practical everyday life. Okay. So now there is a journey. Nothing happens in a day. So, we go for the workshops and training and retreats, and after that, all the energy dies down in weeks or months at the most of the time in days. But here is a journey that brings the CQ to our awareness first, then little by little we have the process that brings this awareness to be knitted into our daily lives in a very small tweaks. These are not exercises, they're very, the bringing the awareness to work for us, and that takes it to integrate it with our personality, with our life. And that's what creates aligned individual, not for a job, but for the whole life, and how you do things consciously. In last few years, the word mindfulness has come to picture, and I think it's so much superficial than what a actual meaning of aligned individual is. That creates a person who is able to do things knowingly rather than have to struggle because that's my job. So that improves the performance, the new growth, new opportunity, the leaking of energy stops. So those are the type of things that we have done so far, and also working with and invite you to if collaborate with us in deepening this research, and we are running the pilots to, in the smaller groups it works fantastic, and so that's what we are up to. Let's see. So now when you go through this journey from orientation discovery to alignment development journey, you get actually a full, very detailed picture of the orientation baseline, the Varna map. It identifies our dominant tendencies, reveal likely imbalanced zones, show natural contribution that we already do. Some of the traits that I have personally come across is, oh, I was not even using it because that was not the fancy enough and talked enough in the society or in our education system. And that was way more valuable. It's too personal to share here. But yeah, so that helps a lot. Then as we go from that journey to the CQ awareness, that's another assessment. So these signals, like, it detects decision patterns in certain situations. How do we process the information? How do we decide? How we execute? share where is the friction appearing, what is the gap where it's appearing, highlights corrective movements. So a lot of time we don't do a major change, just the awareness. Okay, instead of doing this way, um, a certain other way might be much natural to us. So that once we do that and keep at it for little by little, um, that's where we come to more of an integrated, stable, aligned situation, whether we are as an individual or a manager or a department head or as a company. So that repeated measurements, pattern stabilization, and role alignment makes the whole team work together much more effortlessly, like how in US we call it, you know, all the team row in the right in the same direction rather than contradicting each other. So that's what we have put together right now. So if I take it to a corporate situation and a manager who is trying to make this team work, once the team has gone through the exercises and have an ability to see where is certain person's dominant character in what areas, um, the placement of the person in the right place with awareness of the manager and the team member brings a better results and cohesiveness within the team. And that's what has been my effort to go more and more empirical research with institutions that we are moving on right now. So, yes, that's what we are up to. And now, going back to our villain or hero story of AI. So, aligned system will accelerate, will accelerate it. If they are misaligned systems, that also happens. So when we say the varna, think it of this as a varna as a individual's inner design that flows whatever they are doing, so they don't have to struggle to get things done. All right. Let's see if I have a case study. This comes down to a very simple statement is the future of leadership will not depend only on the developing skills. I'm sure you must have heard that a lot of people say college degrees are not required. Well, I personally don't believe that, but the skills are required, but not only depending on the skills, it will depend on aligning how people think with how they contribute. So, this is the question this work of Varna CQ explores and invite all of you to participate. Um, if it sounds like promotion, let it be, but you can take the picture of this QR code. It will take you to a complimentary Varna map to find out about yourself, and then you can decide whether you want to do the CQ or not. It takes 15-20 minutes at the higher side. My only request is just do it in one shot, don't stop and start. It will change the results. So that's that. There is a book that goes much deeper for the curious minds who need to know everything before they touch anything. So, this book's kind of walks you through. It's not a book that you will begin and end as a story. It holds hand and walks with you. So you are actually writing your own story with this book. No preparation required, no labels imposed, um, only a structured way to see alignment more clearly in our lives. These QR codes will take you to the book. Um, if you got nothing else, just take a screenshot of this slide that summarized everything that I talked for about 45 minutes. I'll give it a second. So I am back and I welcome all your questions, comments, curiosities, anything you have. I would like to see you if you want to talk to me, you are got have the camera on,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah, please go ahead and ask any questions if you have. Maybe I'll go first. And so what actually motivated you to think on these lines and come up with this? Like what was your real motivation?
You know, we are very selfish people, and I am one of them. So this is my own quest that led me to this work. So growing up in India, unfortunately, I was good with the maths, so I was put into the sciences. Um, Actually, there are some people saying something. Please take a look. So basically, I have been a teacher, a research scientist, entrepreneur, social entrepreneur, and did fairly good as by the modern standard. But that fairly good wasn't good enough for me.
Mhm.
And that question of what I can be cuckoo mind. I mean, all the outside results are saying I'm a smart person and fairly successful. Then what is missing? And that many conversation, many studies, many courses that I have taken, and pandemic added to that, that I ended up taking many Indic courses, and that just my own quest of finding out, and then coming up to a position. It's like, okay, pen and paper. Um, and working with some of my friends, and they said, oh my god, that helped me, and that just kind of continues to take the shape that it has taken. So yeah, I would say personal pain are the results, the reasons that we really get to do some things.
Yeah. My
Mahendra ji is saying
Can
something.
you also share your screen, Poonamji, so that people can use the QR code? I think they want to
Oh,
scan.
okay.
Poonamji, can I ask the question?
Absolutely, sir.
Yeah. What happened is I teach kids various age group. I start like our NCC here in Houston, Texas.
Ji.
So we start with the age group of 12. I do normally talk to children and see how they behave, how this public system is doing. But I could see the gradual declining of things, what I learned as a child and what these child are facing. The more they are into digital systems, like working everything on digital on a iPads or laptops or PCs, everything without writing, you know, writing in a piece of paper or writing in a
These kids
slate.
don't know how to write. They are not
Yes,
even taught cursive anymore, I heard.
yes, cursive people don't understand the way I write. I learned cursive when I was in sixth grade.
Yeah,
I
they,
had a teacher to teach me and all that. So what
mm,
happened? This has in turn has reduced cognitive abilities. So this has reduced their abilities, their thinking. Maybe they think fast, attentive disorder, situational awareness is gone. I teach flying as well. So
okay.
situational awareness, not aware. So if a normal person who's very attentive, who has a good hand-eye coordination, can be
Mhm.
a good pilot. But now what happened? We are taking, it takes hours. It takes 80 hours, 90 hours to give them a certification.
Mhm.
Earlier, we
Mhm.
used to do it in 40 hours, 36 hours.
Mhm.
If you do flying,
Mhm.
you will be given a private pilot license. Then, based on that, they can do it. But
Mhm.
nowadays, in the last 4 years,
Mhm.
the hours are keep increasing.
Mhm.
Though these children are in system oriented and all that. So my point is how we can reduce that and bring it back, because this cognitive abilities is gone. Once they have that one only, then your whatever your presentation, today's presentation, we can assess it. But now I have a 15-year-old child who was born and brought up here, who are native of US.
Mhm.
She burned out. She dropped out of the system after working with me for 3 years. She said, I cannot take it anymore. And she's only 15. I said,
Right.
a child, you have the entire life all across. So
Yeah.
I speak to the parents, I speak to the sister who's also her elder sister, my student, her younger sister is my student. And I said, you go and talk to her. But this is
Mm.
what it is.
Okay. So, sir, what you're describing, Mahendra ji, is it has more than one layer. What I shared in the Varna CQ, my Varna CQ work is from the original cognitive understanding and where to put it. There are two layers that we are talking about. The kids under 12, they have the cognitive abilities are still under development. We are, and this is my personal opinion and view, which could be wrong, is that we are at the intersection of the teachers who learn differently and the students are learning very differently in the digital age. So there is some piece of that. I mean, my son, his handwriting, if I look at it, I say, please, it gives me a headache to even see what you are writing. But that, because they don't have to write, but that does not make them any different or any worse than. I hear what you are saying. It is taking them more time. I have not delved into. I would love to. For the younger kids, all my work is for the adults. Conceptually, it should be able to help the youngsters, but we have not gone into that piece of the work, to say the least. So unfortunately, I don't have a concrete answer for you, but all I can say conceptually, each kid has the uniqueness that is the schools are not designed to objectively find out, measure it, and promote it. That can be done.
Oh, thank you. But that's what we work start with the age of 12. But me, for the last, since 2018, I recommend we do give task to the children who are 14 and above.
Mhm.
12 to 14, they are still in the phase of being a young child to preteen and that stage. That's what we
Mhm.
are doing. But whatever we learn in the younger age, that's going to shape our adult life also. That's how I interpret.
Yeah, it's the and I would have to wrap it up on this thought because I don't have anything to contribute. Encouragement is only temporary and only hope for. I mean, yeah, as a child, if you try to encourage me to read more, after 10 minutes, I start feeling sleepy. That was me. So it only does so far and so much. So I would not have more to add to that. But yeah, I encourage you to, if you want to test it out, we can have an offline conversation on, how can we do that?
I have taken your QR code. I'm going to
Ji.
test it with two kids
Sure.
and I will message you, ma'am. I'll write to you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And
And
whoever else wants to ask question, if you raise the hands, it would be easier to
or you can
kind
just go
of
ahead and ask the question. Yeah,
go ahead.
please, Lakshmi ji.
Ji.
Hari Om. Namaste, Poonam ji.
Namaskar.
Yeah, I joined pretty early and I thought maybe I missed out on the initial first conversations of yours. So I had joined pretty early. So it told me that it's 12:30 p.m. EST, and that's how I somehow missed out. But then I
Oh.
still got the gist of what you were kind of talking about. So, to whatever Sir was addressing, I just wanted to add a little bit of it because I have a 12-year-old daughter myself. What I have seen in these many years of her growing years, I also come from India, so I'm from Bangalore. We are in US. So what I have seen, she's been chanting a lot of shlokas and stotrams and mantras and everything since the time she was around 3 years or so.
Mhm.
So it's also depends on Sir Mahendra sir. It also depends on how early we get the children into it. And children are very good mimics, so they mimic a lot. The more we kind of get into it and we do it, they follow us. So that is what I have seen has had a major impact on how my daughter has been chanting, because recently she chanted Saundarya Lahari in Sri Krishna Vrindavana where we stay.
Mhm.
I feel that children, they kind of, though there is a lot of disconnect because of the neutral families that we are all into, those kind of days, the way we were brought up with so much of cultural upbringing and all that, because of our grandparents and joint family system and all that. But still, even for this day, it still holds good. It all depends on then we just going ahead and telling them, you do it, it's for your good and all. If we do it ourselves, that is really going to add on so much. By default, they tend to do it. This is what I have seen in my daughter, and that's how I just wanted to share this.
And I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Sri Lakshmi ji, I think the forum will release the full talk. I don't know when. Akshay can tell you that, so you can catch up on that to get the bigger picture of that.
Yeah, you'll be able to see the full talk on our YouTube
Yeah,
channel.
I think somebody else's Dr. Arif is saying that he was confused with the time.
Yeah, so sorry for.
So I don't know. I think maybe Akshay in a week or so, or when do you think that would be released?
I think the YouTube talk should be available immediately after this
Oh, okay,
particular
lovely, lovely.
live streamed on YouTube.
Yeah, yeah. It will give a little bit better picture on the concept itself. And as I said, I do invite the institutions for the pilots, for the collaborative research. We are already doing it with this, some in the US and some in India. And it's just if you get the concept, let's work it out and see how we can help the world.
Yeah. Anyone wants to ask more questions? Yeah, I think one last question maybe I can ask is,
Sure.
we see that each generation gets its name, like Gen Z, Millennials, Gen Alpha, Silent Generation, and we do see like each generation has its own unique traits, and they are different from the other generations around them. And I wonder how this would fit into your Varna CQ system. You know, I would assume that distribution of people, if we like look at the entire population and distribute them across that Varna CQ system, they would fall. The distribution would look like something, it's for, and I wonder whether the distribution would differ from generation to generation in terms of people's abilities,
It's
their gunas, and swabhav.
actually this is a beautiful question. I'm so glad you asked that. So Varna CQ is a concept put in application. The concept is it does not matter what's your makeup, whether you're Gen Z or baby boomer, it does not matter any of that, right? You have a certain mental energies that produce certain way of thinking, consuming information, executing, and contributing certain way. That certain way is never same for each one of us. It's different, right?
Mhm.
But once you know the makeup of it, whether you are an AI engineer or a farmer, it does not matter what you do, but the awareness makes you do things with more intentionality to do where it you go, it's more um more people are joining now. So that intentionality does not change. So whatever as the different generations are coming up, forget about the labels like Gen Z or whatnot. They have their imprint and they have their world that they have to work at and make peace with. It does not mean we got to be open enough to accept it. It does not mean since we, as we were growing up, this was the norm and this was considered the good kid and the not so good kid. We got to get over that and very objectively look into what is the makeup and how this person's can align that with the type of work or the way of work that makes it easier for them. So Varna CQ is as good for 18-year-old or 80-year-old in California or in Chennai is the same thing. It just gives the blueprint,
Mhm. But
right?
let's say if you have an organization with a lot of people or like two
Yeah,
different organizations, and if you give them the Varna CQ test, for example, for a successful organization, you need all kind of people. So it needs to follow.
absolutely. Hmm.
So it needs to follow certain distribution. And if it's not there, then the organization might be actually
Then
set
you
up.
know what is missing.
Yes. So,
Then you
so
know what is missing. Yeah,
So in that case, maybe even your hiring practices might
absolutely.
align with this to get a certain kind of people into your
Yeah.
organization.
So that's very much that's how we are working with some HR organization and our HR of the a lot bigger organizations that are testing this in the pilot form, and that definitely it's not only for the people, the team that they have, but the new hire.
Mhm.
What they are looking for, they have to be clear, and whether this new person has that match or not has to be very clear. So
Mhm.
now you are doing it things very intentionally, very methodically rather than hoping. I mean, hey, replacing one employee cost anywhere from 1.5 to 2 times that person's annual salary. So you are saving time, money, frustration, and more.
Makes sense.
So yeah, yeah, it's very much you pointed it correctly. There's very much HR thing.
Yeah. We have time for one last question if anyone wants to ask. It's the last call. Yeah. If not, then thank you, Punamji, for this wonderful
Yeah,
presentation. It was very enlightening. And thanks everyone for attending and asking questions. The video will be available on our YouTube channel immediately after this.
I have a quick question if there's a
Good.
time. So, what do you define as tamas?
see, Thomas, it's somebody who is stable to kind of stall thing to finish. If I were to talk in terms of today's world, so Tamas is needed more than anything else, which is execute. So say in manufacturing. So now you have the designer, you have the executioners, you have the warehouse, but somebody must make sure this is the
Repeatability.
deadline and that goes out now. So that
Repeatability.
completion, that stability is required, and that only Thomas can give.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's
Now, excess of Thomas will produce
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
lethargy
no,
and so on.
that is like, you get up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you have your morning coffee. These are Tamasic activities actually, but they are necessary for the day to start.
Yeah,
Everything which is repeatable, yeah, that's the
yeah,
thing,
that.
repeatable. That's the, yeah. Okay,
Mhm.
that's what I wanted to understand that.
Right, right. So if you don't have like that discipline, stop. You have to get up, brush your teeth, get going, whatnot you have to do. If that is not there, you can keep thinking about it and nothing will happen. So we need all of that, including Thomas, to get by the day.
And that is something basically in the most discourses and most information shared about Indian knowledge systems, we basically discount tamas and we try to portray it as a negative thing, which is not actually. It's the base basically which allows us to make the bridge, the rajas, and then reach sattva. So that's okay. That's what I wanted to confirm that, yeah, you are also on the same page on that.
Right, right, right. There has been a lot of historical distortions.
Yeah,
If we leave alone those distortions, the basic science is pretty valuable.
yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Punamji.
Thank you, and thank you for the time. Look forward to connecting with whoever wants to. Thank you. Take care.